Hi, I'm with Mike Moore, the founder of Awareness Act again. He's got a couple of updates that he'd like to share, and I'm just here to give him a platform to do that. We got a couple of very interesting developments with his organization. It's no longer just a social media site now. I'm going to let him get into that a little bit more here shortly. But he's got a full-fledged online organization that offers a wide variety of services that will let a lot of web users leave not only Facebook, but a lot of other professional organizations as well for much better service, much more personal service, much more full spectrum service. So without further ado, I'm going to let him talk about it. My first question to Mike Moore. Hey man, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Hanging in
Good,
there.
good, good. Last we spoke, you were added to a list of activists, which restricts your activity extrajudicially. Let's talk about that first before we get into the site too much, because I feel like this is the biggest obstacle to things going well on your end. And also, we talked earlier. I think that you can kind of set up for the other things that you've developed, because I think you'd agree that's kind of been a catalyst for some of the developments you've been going for, right?
Oh yeah.
So why don't you talk about that for a little bit, and talk about what being added to this list of activists means, and what you're planning on trying to do about it.
Well, I guess being flagged as an activist means two things to me. It means, first and foremost, that I'm doing something right.
Yeah, that's right.
Second, it means that it's going to be harder to do it now.
Yeah,
I guess,
that's also true.
I guess, in a nutshell, what happened to me is I had an investor. I got a lot of plans, a lot of ideas for Awareness Act as an organization, and I had an investor who was interested in what I had to offer and what he could bring to the table as well, trying to send me some money via wire transfer. And what ended up happening is, after a bunch of runaround, a couple days, and them not really telling us what was going on, I went for the third time to Walmart Money Center, and this time had the lady call corporate headquarters for MoneyGram.
Right.
And the phone was handed across the desk to me. And the lady from corporate headquarters proceeded to tell me that she couldn't confirm whether I was or wasn't, but my name either was or wasn't on a federal list for activism, and that I was now uneligible for receiving or sending money transfers within the United States.
Yeah, we can neither confirm nor deny, but yeah, pretty much we're not gonna. We can't. All we can tell you is we can't give you money. We can't. Wow, that's screwed up, man.
Yeah, it was quite the scene. I got pretty upset.
Kidding.
I had everybody, obviously I didn't realize it at the time until I was walking out, but I had everyone turn around at the aisles and stuff, and they were all staring at me because I'm yelling at the lady on the other end. I said, "Are you serious?" And I repeated what she had told me. I said, in a loud voice. I said, "So I've been flagged for exercising my constitutional rights," and you should have seen the looks on some of the guys' faces, people wearing that hats, and people who fought for the Constitution. And,
yeah, you know what though? That's the right response though. I mean, quite honestly, is because
that's what Awareness Act is going for.
I mean, because people, most people, they're not even aware of the constant violations that are going on because they never challenge them. So I mean, it's really important when it does happen to stand up and speak out and say, "Look, this is going on." And I'll bleep that, by the way. Don't worry about that.
Agreed.
But I mean, and most people would never really be aware of it unless we threw a fit when they started trampling on our rights. And I think that's what it's come to is we gotta. Well, okay, it's become kind of a cliche, but it's true. We gotta wake people up.
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's what Awareness Act is trying to do. And I noticed that you can't just do that. You can't just say, "All right, I created a website," and even if it is 100% better in every avenue, and I found the best way to say that to people, the best way to deliver that message to the public. People don't just jump into things like that. It's like a pool, you know. They've got to test the water. A lot of times they don't really want to go swimming, you know, so they're just going to go, you know. It's been a long process.
Yeah, there's a term for that. I forget what it is, but like Newtonian's third law, things that are in motion tend to stay in motion. Things that are at rest tend to stay at rest. It's the same deal. I mean, you know, it's just a matter of you got to get the ball rolling, and sometimes that's a lot easier said than done. You know, I've run a couple of businesses myself, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's just no matter what you do. I mean, it's momentum. That's what it is. You got to be able to build momentum, and you know that's harder to do than it sounds. You know,
it is, especially
really
when you're talking about what we're doing at Awareness Act, because there's a fine line that we have to walk with the momentum. We've got to make sure that it's going in the right direction, so that once we've got that motion behind us, it's going to be a crazy amount. It's going to be the entire country, the entire world, the entire free-thinking, free-wanting, you know, human race is going to be behind this, and we're not going to be able to stop it. And that's what I want. I want the people to steer this.
Well, you're closing in on.
They're steering in the right direction.
You're closing in on what, 14,000 users right now, something like that.
We've got 14,225 as of about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, so over 14,000. So, you know, let's say approximately 15,000, and I'll tell you why. So 300 million in the country, so 1 million is 1%. Yep. So 300,000 is 1/10%. 30,000 is 1/100%. So you got 1/200%. So that's like 1 in every 20,000 people or so in the U.S. But you know it's worldwide too, so that doesn't really translate. But still, you know, it's you know, I really think that, you know, I mean, it keeps on building. I mean, I think last time we talked, it was closing in on 13,000. Now it's 14,000. It's building, man. I mean, it's building, and
it's building all on its own, Mark.
Yeah.
The thing that's the most, not surprising, but it's given me the most excitement is the fact that since the last time I talked to you, we had Matt Larson from his YouTube channel, Matt Larson 10. He put up just a little 3-minute, 10-second video about his opinion of Awareness Act, and then he threw the introduction video from the homepage on there.
Yeah.
And that put about almost 1,500 new members. So that's the only real advertisement that we're doing. Every single person that's coming to this network is coming to it on their own cognizance. They're coming because something they heard on a page that they follow on another social network that's dying. We're the only social network, and you can do the statistics, put them side by side on them sites out there. We're the only one that's growing. So, just wait until we actually, you know, this is what we're going to talk later about, but we've got plans in motion right now to do a lot more things than just be a social network.
Yeah.
And those plans involve more marketing, more advertising, getting our name out there more.
Absolutely.
Something we haven't been able to do because, you know, I'm a father. I'm on the road right now trying to find a place and a good home for Awareness Act in my family. They're very involved in it as well. So we are now taking the time, and I'm telling you guys, when it really, you know, when everything falls into place, Awareness Act is going to be where it's at. It already is. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, it's I barely ever go to Facebook anymore, or Twitter. I mean, you know, I tend to hang out on Awareness Act just because, you know, it's. Well, I mean, when I'm on Facebook, a lot of times I feel like I'm being babysat. Like some of my comments just don't show up. You know.
Yep.
And no matter how many times I try to put them on there, they just don't show up at all. Some people have been talking about, you know, comments being deleted, being blocked. I have not experienced that, but I have experienced comments just not going through at all.
Yeah, I've experienced all of it.
And plus, you know, the people that are there, you know, basically I use that as an address book. It's not a place for me to hang out, really. It's a place for me to say, okay, well, if I need to contact, you know, so-and-so or so-and-so from my past, I've still got that, you know, connection or whatever. But I mean, other than that, I really don't use it for anything.
I can go on there and get in contact with somebody.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that's not something that I use every day, really. Awareness Act, I'm on there, you know, every day usually. My internet's down right now, but I mean, in general, I'm on there practically every day. But and I think a lot of people are gonna be that way too. I mean, it's
Well, it's a place where it puts meaning behind social networking. That's my first and biggest goal with the Awareness Act, is to try and take away one of the greatest tools humankind has ever invented, which is social networking. I'm trying to take it away from the corporatocracy. I'm trying to take it away from the greed and the misuse. And I'm trying to give it back to the people who are awake and aware right now and are able to use it as a tool to change things. And then hopefully in the future, once we've changed enough and a few generations have seen and used social media as something that benefits the whole, which is humankind and the earth ultimately, then we can, start applying it in directions in our life that will further that change.
Yeah.
Right now, we're in a tough spot as people. We've got wars coming, we've got people dying, and I mean, just the idea that the world isn't as small or isn't as big as it used to think it is, just purely because of social networking.
Oh, yeah.
But we use it to do things like take pictures of bags of Doritos and, just brag about things. And I mean, I don't have to go into detail. We use it for things that are totally unconducive to
just inconsequential and just unimportant.
We look around the world and we see so much going on. I mean, you could ask a 2-year-old, about certain things, and because of TV and because of how small the world really has gotten, they know. They know about wars and stuff like that. So it's time to start using these tools that we have, especially as social tools, as something to facilitate change.
Yeah, but getting back to, and I'm with you 100% on that. Social media has been the way of the future and will continue to be, and I think Awareness Act may be the future of social media. It might be.
Definitely. Right?
It certainly is, as far as I'm concerned. But getting back to the activist list, do you plan on seeking representation to get these restrictions revoked, or you also discussed another option that you were looking at that would kind of bypass it altogether? Would you mind discussing that for a little bit?
Yeah, I called the guy from Harvard Law.
Yeah.
He never returned my call. I left him a message. That was about 6-7 days after it had happened. And since then, I've kind of decided, basically the way it all happened, I was able to take care of what I needed to take care of with the Awareness Act. We found a way through the Awareness Act.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what they did didn't really hinder me. It helped me. And it helped the people of the Awareness Act realize that we are the people. And that we don't need money grab, and we don't need permission from the Surgeon General or, the Social Security Administration. We don't need permission from our government to conduct business with each other. Point in case. So we got it done. I got the money.
Yeah,
and that's when I realized that I don't really need, I don't really need legal representation right now unless they start furthering it.
Right.
Something that did happen to me within the last 6 days here is my Yahoo account's been frozen. I no longer have a Yahoo account. I've had my Yahoo mail for 16 years now. And
wow.
So now all of a sudden it's frozen. I can't access it with anything, and they say it's frozen until July 21st, pending further investigation. I don't understand what the hell that's about.
Freaking weird, man.
Yep.
That is weird.
Yep. Oh, and hey, another development. 2 days ago, I got called by the District of Columbia.
What?
I had a phone. My phone rang. The number wasn't blocked. It was it started with a 6, the area code. I don't remember, but it said District of Columbia underneath it. And I answered, and it was staticky, and there was nobody there. And I said hello one more time, and there was a lady on the other end. She said hello. And I said, hi. And she hung up on me. And
wow.
I don't know if that's just me being paranoid.
Well, there's no telling. That could be just a wrong number, or it could be, their wires got crossed trying to listen to what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's no, I don't know. I'm not a telecommunications expert. I couldn't tell you, but
Neither
I mean,
am I, but it's
honestly,
definitely
honestly, when you get into the kind of things that you and I have been getting into, I mean, this becomes the norm. I mean, and it's just a matter of we gotta, we gotta stand up to them. I mean, that's really the only option that we have. You know.
We do have to stand up to them, and my entire life of being awake, this last 5-6 years of my life has been people saying, oh, we can't stand up alone, or you encounter them people who say, well, if they came here for me, I'd kick their ass, and the bottom line is we're not going to be able to do that alone. I don't care if you got 15 people. I don't care if you got 1,500 people. We're facing one of the biggest forces this world has ever seen, and it's
well, I mean,
network.
I feel like the majority of the U.S. government, they're less aware of what's going on than we are, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but I've met some people in government who were in a position to know things, and they were able to show me some things that I didn't know, but honestly, overall, I knew more than they did. Because they, it's almost like a joke in a way, because with all their clearances and all their access, I know more than they do just researching stuff on my own on the internet. And it's things that are confirmed, things that are well known, and I know them and they don't, because I went out and I found out. And so, I mean, and I think the majority of the U.S. government is like that. I don't think the majority of the U.S. government wants to take away liberties. I don't think that they're, out to serve the banks, but except for very few at the very, very top. But they're being manipulated, and some of them are aware. Some of them know exactly what's going on. What I think is going on, I think there's a civil war going on within our government. I don't think that I think it's a cold civil war, and I think it's between various government officials. And I think there's a possibility that it might become a kinetic war, and that it might involve people other than the government. But right now, I think it's within the government, and I think that it's a cold war. But I do think that maybe a struggle is a better word. But I do think that there's a struggle going on within the government for the freedoms of the United States, and I think most of the people, even in government, aren't even aware that it's going on, but it is going on.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah, people think of war and conflict and things, words of that nature as somebody's dying or somebody, there's
right.
The media is covering it, I suppose. It's not official until the news says it's official. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's nobody. Well, there are some people getting killed over it, but for the most part, it's a cold war right now, and let's hope it stays that way, and let's hope that we come out on top.
Yeah, agreed. The
guys who care about individual sovereignty and individual liberty and the U.S. Constitution, we're all praying for them, and we're all hoping that because I've met a lot of people, even in these organizations that are not constitutional. Most of the people that I've met within them, like DHS, NSA, CIA, I haven't known anybody from the FBI, but even people in these organizations, they tend to be very much pro-Constitution, pro-liberty. Most of the ones that I've met, So, if anything, the least constitutional people out there are probably, things like the military police and things like that. Those people tend to, and that's not a blanket statement either. But if there's, those are the ones that I've found tend to really be the most anti-liberty, if you will. There tends to be a culture of that, if you know what I'm saying. But I mean, don't, when you think about it, don't get, there's people in our government that are doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. But there's still a lot of hope out there. There's still a lot of people, even in government, that are pulling for the cause of liberty. So,
it's just the trouble of getting us all together. Citizen and member of the Congress, and citizen and the person who has the real voice and the real power.
Yeah.
we've got to make it all transparent. We've got to make it all flow together. I mean, when's the last time you seen a member of the government go up on, with his time to speak and say, well, Bob in Iowa wrote me a letter, and he said he wanted this done. Well, you don't hear that. It's always some kind of political, some kind of maze that you have to traverse just as an ordinary citizen in order to just understand one little part of what's going on. So I think we've got a lot of work to do, but
and that's another thing. I mean, there's so many facets to this. There's so many facets to this that, I mean, it's it's not one group that's out there trying to destroy liberties either. I mean, there's a myriad of them. I think that there's one that's exerts a lot of. It's not even so much control as much as it is influence. I think that there's one group that exerts more influence than all of the others, but it's not like they're even in control. I mean, the whole thing is out of control, even for. Say again?
The people run everything, so it has to be influence, because the minute people feel like they're being controlled, they start to rebel. So naturally, this power that be, this hand behind the curtain that's existed for thousands of years, if you've done your research far enough, you start to realize that, of course, it's going to be influence, and it's got to be got to sound like the people or society wanted it, and if it ever gets, if that ever doesn't work, then they make things happen to where we feel like we need it, like these shootings, and as far as gun control goes. So the rabbit hole goes very deep.
Yeah, it does. But in terms of this, you were also talking about bypassing this restriction that's on you altogether by incorporating. I mean, are you still thinking about doing that, or so? Because that would just solve it right there. I mean, create a fictional person that's not on the list. You know what I mean?
And then that creates a lot of its own hurdle to jump over itself. Especially with the IRS now.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
And all that stuff. But I think that is it's a definite must, just because of funding.
Right. And plus, it gives you limited liability. So if for whatever reason somebody decided to sue you for some reason, then you only have limited liability in terms of that. So that way you don't lose whatever personal assets you might have if it goes really bad. So.
Yeah, and I want to be able to keep Awareness Act up first and foremost. What I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate Awareness Act as its own entity, and then Awareness Act Social Network is going to be a part of that. We also have some plans for some other things. We're doing hosting services.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Let's get into that. I recently, let's get into hosting since we're. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What else are you guys planning on doing? But I do want to come back to that.
We've got just another idea for some non-GMO seeds.
Nice.
Who, we're kind of working with right now. We've got a website already built, and we're just kind of waiting to get all the shipping and marketing and all that handled. But
that's great.
So we've got some big ideas, but the ultimate goal is to be able to keep Awareness Act Social Network up and running with all of the revenue that we generate and everything.
And honestly, the best model out there, the best marketing model for people like us out there, I feel like is Alex Jones's InfoWars. I mean, that man has got the marketing figured out. I mean, he really does. Yeah. I mean, he finds these things that you don't know even exist and that you can't get anywhere. In the from the normal sources, and that are just, really the best of the best of the best of the things that you can get in certain areas, and he just brings them all onto his site, and he plugs them, and it's I don't know, he's got a great system worked out.
Artwork.
Say what?
Artwork. He's a marketing artist. He reminds me of the Billy Mays of whatever you call what we're doing here. The Billy Mays of truthing.
Yeah, and I mean that's the model. I mean that's what we gotta. And you can't just plug the same products he does. I mean you got to find your own stuff. That way people have an incentive to shop with you instead of him. But
delivery is a little harsh too. Well,
oh, from him? Well, he's he gets into it.
It works for him, but
yeah. Oh no. I mean I'm not saying go for his style. What I'm saying is in terms of his business plan. His business plan, his business model is outstanding. Outstanding.
Yeah. See, that's what I was talking about earlier, Phil, with the whole walking the fine line here.
Yeah.
I want to find the ability to have such an outstanding business plan, but at the same time, I don't want it to ruin people's conceptions of awareness act. I don't want them to see it as a business.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing, though. I mean, if it's ruining the experience, then it's not a good business plan. That's the thing. If it's a good business plan, it enhances the experience. While bringing in revenue, and that's really the goal. You know what I mean? But I'm a big fan of Atlas. I wouldn't say I'm an objectivist, but I'm a big fan of Atlas Shrugged and the ideas of free market capitalism and things of that nature.
Definitely.
So I mean, if you're out, honestly, the best way to make money is to serve your consumers. That's what Alex Jones does. That's why it's such a big success. Honestly, another site that I like is Amazon.com. I think that's why they're such a success. Things like that. And I think that you could. I think that you could definitely do that as well.
Definitely. Actually, I just the only difference that I like to apply to it all is like. I want the members to be able to serve themselves.
Right.
I want to set up a platform for like a free market type idea on Awareness Act, and then have it totally member fueled. We'll put in the proceeds and the funding necessary in order to keep it set up.
Kind of like eBay or something.
Infrastructure there, but it's totally fueled by the members. We don't take any money off the top. We don't. It's just a way to connect people with their own businesses that are geared towards spreading the truth.
Kind of like a Craigslist or something, or?
Yeah, like a Truther's Craigslist type.
Well, I mean, that could be really powerful too. I mean, that could be really powerful too. I mean, if it's like a social network. Yeah, if it's a social network that kind of has that, then that could be extremely powerful. But. So yeah, I look forward to seeing that. But to return to the hosting thing that you mentioned, as you know, I recently left GoDaddy.com because that's where I was being hosted before, and I'm being hosted by your site now, and we've got it all worked out. Since you started hosting my site, it's been up pretty reliably. When I was with GoDaddy.com, I mean, sometimes pretty regularly, really. The site would be down for maintenance, and there'd be glitches and things like that, and it would kind of run kind of slow for some reason. It must have been on their end, because since you started hosting my site, it's been up really reliably, and it loads up really quickly, and it really works quite well. I'm very pleased with the way it works. There were a few administrative bumps on the way. But, you guys are still developing the administrative processes, and you guys haven't really even launched this yet, officially.
No, we haven't. You're one of the first, you're the first 4 people that we've hosted. And right now we're hosting 2 other people. So.
Yeah, and I'll vouch for it. I mean, it's great. Well, you want to plug them then? I mean, since you got, 6 people you're hosting now?
Yeah, right now, I think we're just going to keep it as it is. Marshall's the one doing all the hosting. I don't know if there's anybody with, anybody who's added to the list lately, but I was telling you earlier about the seed idea. Yeah. We've got buynongmoseeds.com. We're going to be jumping. It's going to be getting put up here within the week.
Buynongmoseeds.com. So is that www. All right, so www.buy, one word, right?
Yes.
Buy non-GMO seeds.
Yep.
Okay,
and then
cool.
we've got Prepper Podcast.
Yeah.
Here's Natural News. Or
Whoa.
not Natural News, what's the other one? Survival and Beyond with Ed Corcoran.
Oh, okay. Ed Cochran, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
Wow,
I actually did an interview with him about 7-8 months ago,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's out there somewhere if you guys don't know what's where.
Well, that's outstanding, man. That's really great.
Yeah, and we plan to, when I first came up with this idea, my goal was to be able to offer services to members and just kind of do it at a rate where they could come, not necessarily under the wing of Awareness Act, but they could come benefit from what we're trying to offer and make it easier for them. So, we're trying to do it at a cheap cost.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm really looking forward to the further developments on the site. I'd really like to integrate it with, because, take Facebook, for example. Facebook, you can basically integrate it completely with any WordPress site, most blog sites. I'd really like to see Awareness Act get to that point because I would be all about that. I would integrate in a second,
Yeah, that's our goal.
And I've been to Ed Cochran's site several times. He's got some outstanding articles. I mean, he's got some great information on his site, and it looks like he's got a lot of traffic too. So that's outstanding.
He does.
So.
Yep, like I said earlier, we're standing on the precipice right now of really diving into the deeper waters of what's going on in America and getting people involved.
I think it's about to explode, man. I think it is about to explode. If you guys are publicly traded, I would buy your stock.
All right.
I've offered to invest before, and you guys, you're just like, well, we're not trading stock right now. But if you guys made a stock offering, I would buy them up. I would definitely would.
Yeah, well, take this for example. We tried to we threw a little stock market bar up there.
Oh yeah.
On top of the homepage. And people, it was only up for not even 24 hours. People were sending Marshall inbox messages like, what the hell? Get that off of there.
What?
So, yeah, I liked it. I want to bring it back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I find that, your site attracts all kinds of people. All kinds of people. And, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel, I feel like I might be being a little bit, what's the word? Paranoid when I say this, I try not to accuse people of this, but sometimes I interact with somebody and I feel like you came directly from the bowels of Lucius Trust. You're an operative. You're a closet socialist trying to derail this thing. Sometimes I get that impression, and I try not to say it, but I find myself thinking it a lot of times, and they're a minority, but they're a vocal minority, and honestly, I'm glad that they're there. I'm not accusing you of that. They're probably not. It's probably just me being paranoid. They're probably just it's probably just what they honestly believe, and I honestly think that they're wrong. And I'm glad that they're there because it kind of gives me an opportunity to bounce ideas off of them, and they make
started as a place for everybody from basically I was getting sick and tired of people bashing stuff. I mean, you still see it, I'm sure, on Facebook. Threads fill up within seconds of people. I mean, 90% of it is just name calling and totally opposite of what we're trying to accomplish here. So that's why
I've encountered some of that. Most of what I've encountered on Facebook is even worse. It's just inanity, just total irrelevancy.
Yep, people put stuff on there that's ridiculous and hurtful, or even
just doesn't. I mean, hurtful I can deal with. Hurtful I can deal with. Angry I can deal with. Even illogical I can deal with because I can just point it out and say, but it's with a little bit of training you can always point out when somebody's making bad arguments. But I mean, but just posting things that don't matter and flooding the feed with just stupidity. That really kills me. Things that are just totally irrelevant. Then I go to Awareness Act, everything is relevant. I mean, occasionally I'll see something that'll piss me off, but I mean, it's relevant. It's not irrelevant at all.
It's more relevant because it pisses you off.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So I mean, I honestly, that's my main complaint with Facebook, and it all depends on who your friends are, I'm sure, but so.
Yeah, and then another thing, before we touch off the subject, as far as Facebook goes, you notice now that they're starting to send messages about your friends are concerned about you for this reason.
Yeah, I saw that.
People are concerned about you for that reason based on your posts. Well, all right, just taking an unobjective, unbiased view on Facebook's policy there, you'd think that they'd take the time and redesign that to actually, like you're on Awareness Act, and if a friend is concerned, well, that friend talks consistently with Awareness Act staff anyways. So,
yeah.
We come to you as real people,
Right, you don't come as an automatic bot.
Allow you to, rebuttal, allow you to explain yourself, or, it's more of an interpersonal relationship with Awareness Act developers and founder than you're ever going to get on another social network, I am your friend. You can call me. My number is there on Awareness Act. I'm not Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not some big head of a corporation that cares more about the bottom line than he does about the people. Awareness Act is yours.
Yeah.
So
well, and here's the thing, though. I mean, if it really explodes, I mean, I hate to say this, and I know you don't want to hear this, but if it really explodes, you're going to have middlemen. And that's just how it is.
I agree. But, I'll work myself to the bone to ensure that, I'm satisfied with those middlemen.
Yeah.
That's what
no, absolutely. They have to be
compassionate, understanding, and
yeah. Well, I mean, middleman has a bad connotation, but I mean, there's good middlemen and bad middlemen. I mean, they exist because a lot of times they're necessary. But you don't even have to call them middlemen, like staff, something like that.
Yeah.
So like people who will pick up the phone and talk to you, that kind of thing.
Yep. Like Terry Montica, she's been with us since the beginning here, and we've got
I like Terry.
Staff members, and Terry's been the greatest. She's had her ups and downs, but ultimately she's been able to rise above and really learn, and that's what we need from all of our members, not just staff. Is people are coming to the website in order to open their mind and expand their belief of what exactly is going on, whether that be how they interact with people, whether that be what's going on in their own personal life, or something greater and bigger that involves other members. The bottom line is to just change your conception of how you interact with people. So.
Yeah. Well, so are there any, so you're talking about, like, for now you're only going to offer it to a few people. Are you going to offer general hosting services at some point, or you think it's just going to be on a case-by-case basis?
I'm trying right now to get it to where within the next 3 to 4 weeks we have an actual marketing team, an actual developing team. So as is right now, it's just kind of a case-to-case basis because I'm operating on a really really low budget and a really low, staff number here. It's just me and Marshall pretty much. So, but as soon as we get a couple more developers, I've been talking to some people on the site. They're willing to help and they know how to develop and write script and all that good stuff. So, within the next month at max, I'd like to just offer it up. It'll be the 360 hosting.
And here's the thing too. I mean, there's got to be a large percentage of people on Awareness Act who have their own websites or would like to build their own websites.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And here's the thing. I mean, pretty much everybody has a blog. And and here's another way that you could spin it too. It's like, look, you're blogging through Blogger or WordPress.com or what have you. You can get your own self-hosted website. We will set it up for you. It's only to cost such and such, and it'll be self-hosted, and it'll be through Awareness Act. You'll be helping us. You'll have your own website, and it's just worry-free. We'll walk you through it, And especially for WordPress.com users, I mean, it's basically the same program. It's just self-hosted, so there's nothing to figure out. So
you've got other hosting plans out there that might have forums and stuff, but another huge bonus with the Awareness Act hosting is you've got a whole social network behind you.
Oh yeah.
Not only is there a certain number of these people on this social network that are hosting as well with us that you can kind of congregate with and bounce ideas off as far as your sites go, but there's a whole network as far as marketing and advertising your blog. Hey guys, I'm not only a member, but I'm a paid hosted. This is my project. Here it is. Check it out. It's Awareness Act approved.
Absolutely. And here's another thing too is I'd really like to see you guys design like a feed widget. You know what I'm saying, for WordPress?
Yep.
To where you put that off to the side and you just see the latest posts on Awareness Act. Like a running RSS feed of all the comments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That you can put into a widget.
Definitely.
With like your logo up there and everything.
Crew set up, and Marshall's going to head that. And there's so many great ideas that all of our members, that one included, that people send to me and send to him, and it just goes back to right now we're operating on such a
on a shoestring, right? I mean, it's you guys have been doing a lot, and there's so many things that could be done, but I mean it's just a matter of finding the manpower and finding the time.
One thing I could say to that, it's a plea out to our members, contact me. I need
absolutely.
I can't do this alone. I'm struggling in my own life right now, and I've got it now to the point where I can actually responsibly deal with Awareness Act, but there's other technical stuff that I need help with.
Right. So all you web developers out there that are using Awareness Act, throw in your weight. Throw in your mind. Let's get this. This thing's on the verge of really taking off. So if there's any web developers out there who are on Awareness Act, or if you're not, check it out. And help this guy out. We're on the verge of something big here. You just need a little bit of an extra push, and this could really be great. It already is great. It could be even better. And I'm really excited about the hosting specifically. And once you guys have that up, I mean, honestly, I think you guys are going to be, the money issue isn't going to be an issue anymore once you guys do that. Because I'd say there's probably, of the 14,000 plus members that you have on there, probably a fourth of them have a blog.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's almost 5,000, potentially 5,000 people that might be interested in your services. And say a couple $100 a year from each of those guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's enough to launch our mobile app.
That's enough to do anything you want to do.
We've got Hydra right now in beta version because we need some money also to launch that app. So it's there's a lot of things that we can do, and you got the rumors going around out there from World Truth and Anthony and his little following that we're doing this for money and we're doing this for this, or and it's all bull. It's all a line of crap because you can see right now. You can call me on the phone. You can check me out. I'm in a hotel.
And you know what? You should be doing this for money. Not in a negative way, but you should be doing this to where you can do this full time. You should be trying to make money so that you can focus all of your attention on making this the best site it can possibly be. So you need to be making as much money as you possibly can. And that's... I
want to make sure that the members know I'm not trying to take their money.
Yeah, and I know that's not what you're about. But every time somebody says that, I find it frustrating because it's part of this whole philosophy that says, oh, well, making money is bad. Well, no, it's not. Yep. It's, the ability to make money means independence. That means you can focus all of your attention on that. It means you can dedicate resources to that. It means it matters to people. So I mean, just don't listen to those people at all. They're full.
I try not to. You know, and Anthony's come on the site a couple times now, and he's said stuff. And I've actually gone on their site, and you know, it's been difficult. But what I've done is I've kept myself very, very polite.
Oh yeah, you've been extremely professional, that man. I've seen you interact with him a couple of times. You've been nothing but professional. And he's accused you of things that I tried to verify for myself, and they turned out to be complete bull.
Yep.
So I mean that guy has very little believability in my book. He's not what's the word I'm looking for? He's not credible.
No, not at all.
So, but speaking of making money, I noticed that you used to have Google AdWords and you removed it. Now I gotta say I think that's a good idea. Nothing against Google AdWords. I mean, I think it's obviously they have a business model that works really well, but it's ineffective for your crowd because your crowd is the opposite of generic. They come from all over the spectrum, but they are not generic. They are the people who don't fit in. They are the people who think for themselves. They are the people who are
99%.
Yeah. So, and it's going to be ineffective because Google AdWords is generic. And another problem with it is it data mines users. And another reason people come to your site is because they want to get away from being data mined at all.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think it's great that you removed Google AdWords. But that having been said, I think it would be unfortunate not to have any ad revenue coming in on your site because, you can use the revenue, and you need to be making as much money off of this as you possibly can so that you can hire people, so that you can do this full time, so that you can improve the site, expand your hardware, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
And so I was just wondering, and you've got some, those online stores coming up, and you're trying to get the hosting launched. Do you have any plans to offer private ad space and/or use another ad provider?
Honestly, what happened with Google was we did an update, and when there was some bug scripts there that Marshall and another guy were trying to take care of, and I don't remember what he said, if they just didn't turn it on when they turned the site back online, or if it was a bug, but it was an accident. And it gave me an opportunity, thanks to you, because you brought it to my attention. My computer's been crapped out for the last 7 days. Longer than that, actually. It's been about a week and a half now. So my ability to get on the site is really limited. My computer doesn't, or my iPad doesn't show a lot of the things. But you brought it to my attention that Google AdWords wasn't there, or AdSense. And I thought, and I called Marshall and I told him, I said, hey, we need to capitalize on this because that's something I've been wanting to do because of the data mining and because of the fact that it's not very geared towards our member base. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opportunity to basically create our own type of ad space. I want the same principle as the hosting. I want people who are involved in truth and involved in the same types of things we're involved in to be able to purchase ad space on the site. And if anybody does anything with social networking, we've got an endless amount of space on the two sides there. So we could,
and let me tell you, I've been waiting for a while for you to do this because I mean, if so long as you offer prices that are comparable to the other ones, I'm probably going to buy ad space at your site.
Awesome.
I probably
will. Check this out. Here's another cool story for you guys. I'm staying in kind of a crappy hotel down here in Palm Bay, Florida. It used to be an old Ramada, but a guy's bought it, and he really doesn't put any money into it. The other day, the electrical box caught fire, and they had to evacuate us all.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in this big lobby. They thankfully turned the air conditioning on. I'm a singer, and there was a guy playing the guitar, so I went up and I approached him and said, hey, and I started singing with him as he's playing the guitar. Well, it turns out this guy is a truther, and him and his buddies about 4 years ago had the same idea to do what I did with the Awareness Act. So instantly we hit it off.
Of course.
I went later that night. We got back into our rooms, and I got a six-pack, and we sat and
hung out.
And talked to him. And it turns out that he's also he's been in marketing for the last 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, him and I sat down, and I was talking to you on the phone about this a few days ago. We've got a whole marketing plan laid out for everything that has to do with Awareness Act. I'm
That
talking
is
the hosting,
outstanding.
I'm talking the ad plans, I'm talking everything. So that's why I say, give me about 3 to 4 weeks, and Awareness Act is going to be set to go.
Oh, my.
I just need the members behind me.
Oh, that's
Or,
excellent.
you know, I don't like the idea behind me. I need the members right at my side. You know, I need us to be abreast as we do this, walking together. Otherwise, nothing can get done, because it's just going to be a group of a small number of people, you know, with the possibility of thousands behind them. But, you know, then they don't show, or then, you know, they're busy. So it's really time to really become fluid and really realize that we have a lot of power at Awareness Act.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if you didn't, you know, you wouldn't be, they wouldn't be trying to bring you down right now.
Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing.
definitely.
They're just, at the end of the day, they're just shooting themselves in the foot, because they're bringing attention to the fact that they're concerned about you, firstly. And secondly, they're putting you in a position to where you're forced to develop alternate means of getting things done. And once that's set up, it's over. It is game over. Once there's other means to get those things done, and once you have momentum, I mean, it's all over. So I mean, I you know, things, you know, that's things are this is we're heading into a very risky time right now, I think, but it's risky because we're taking ground. Yeah. So expect a counterattack, dig in, and, you know, get ready for the fight of your life.
Well, I'm trying to get ready, Mark. It's not easy, but
no, it's not.
Definitely a weight off my shoulder when, you know, people like Donna Clements give me a call and say, hey, you know, she sent us a little bit of money the other day, wire transfer. She'd remember, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She wanted to make sure that we could get my son Joshua some popsicles and milk, you know. And I mean, it's stuff like that really makes it easier for me to continue doing what I'm doing. You know, I don't feel alone by any means, that's for sure. I feel like I have a network of 14,225 people behind me. So thank you guys for all of that.
Yeah. Hey, and thank you for setting it up. You know. All right. Well, you know, I guess I'll probably call you in a few weeks then. I guess you'll have some big things to talk about. And
hopefully I'll still be able to talk about them, but
oh, I'm sure you will be. I'm sure you will be. I mean, they can't kill you now because there's too much visibility. I mean, there's 14,200 and what was it? 250? 225 people.
Yep.
That would be very aware if you were gone.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that they can't just straight up knock you off now, so that's good news. So,
yeah, definitely.
now it's just a matter of, you know, winning the legal battles, winning the financial battles. So, and I think that you will. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I think we're on to something here.
I think so. All right, till next time, brother. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, Mike.
Goodbye.